So as we just heard from Jason, Border Czar Tom Homan says he will stay in Minnesota, where he's leading ICE operations, quote, until the problem is gone. NTD's Steve Lance spoke earlier with Wisconsin Republican Senator Ron Johnson. Here's a look.
Senator Ron Johnson, thanks so much for joining.
Thanks for having me on.
Senator, Border Czar Tom Homan now leading operations for ICE in the state of Minnesota, saying that he's staying there until the problem is gone. Here's some sound from Border Czar Tom Homan.
When we hit the streets, we know exactly who we're looking for. Good idea where we may find them. You have a criminal history. You have their immigration history. A lot of information about this person that we get from numerous databases out there. Targeted, strategic enforcement operations.
Senator, how does this differ from the narratives that we're hearing about ICE in Minnesota?
Well, first of all, I think by focusing on what happened in Minneapolis, we were really losing sight of the bigger picture, the root cause of the problem, which was President Biden and the Democrats' open border policy, allowing millions of people to flood this country, including in those millions, murderers, rapists, human sex and drug traffickers. Plus, throw on top of that sanctuary cities where rather than cooperating with ICE to detain criminals so they can be picked up safely in jails, they've been resisting, creating these signal chat groups which flood citizens, putting them in danger by obstructing a legitimate law enforcement operation. So again, that's the problem. That's what's caused these tragic deaths. So from my standpoint, I have no problem in further focusing ICE's and CBP's efforts on criminals. That's what their focus always should have been. But even in focusing on criminals, you're going to probably be encountering and potentially detaining other people who maybe haven't committed crimes, but other than coming to this country illegally, which is a crime. And so ICE can't really look the other way when somebody's committed the crime of coming to this country illegally and just let that person go either. So there's some more sympathetic cases that may be rounded up in this as well. But again, the main problem was sanctuary cities and states and the open border that has created this really clear and present danger to this nation.
Tom Homan also commenting on the recent shootings of these anti-ICE agitators in Minnesota. Here's a look.
I said in March, if the rhetoric didn't stop, there's going to be bloodshed. And there has been. I wish I wasn't right. I don't want to see anybody die. Not officers, not members of the community, and not the targets of our operations.
Senator, can we really attribute the bloodshed to the rhetoric against ICE? Explain the process here and how we got here.
Well, again, had you not had people organizing these chat groups, telling citizens where ICE could be so they could show up and get in the face of ICE agents, put them at kind of hair trigger alert, threaten them, dox them, shoot at them, ram cars into their vehicles, had that not happened, these two individuals in Minneapolis would be alive today. The left purposefully put people in danger by encouraging them to, interdict and obstruct illegal law enforcement action. These people, they should not be dead today, except for the action of incitement and encouragement of obstruction of justice. So that's the tragedy here. Again, I know the mainstream media, the lamestream media wants to focus on, did the ICE agents, should they be prosecuted and stuff? I've got a great deal of sympathy for people who are under that much stress and pressure by the left. Again, these are law enforcement people. They are trying to keep us safe. They're trying to get dangerous criminals off the street. That in itself is a risky operation, dealing with dangerous criminals you're trying to apprehend. And sanctuary cities don't allow them to apprehend them in a safe setting like a jail. They've got to go into their homes. They're putting themselves at risk, and they're even greater risk now when you've got signal chats bringing out citizens that threaten ICE. Again, whether they intend to threaten them or not, it's threatening, and they're putting themselves at risk. Again, this is all because of sanctuary cities, lack of cooperation of ICE, and Biden and Democrats opening up a border, allowing these dangerous people into our country. That's the root cause.
Now in the Senate, Democrats unwilling to approve funding for the Department of Homeland Security, threatening a partial government shutdown. This morning, Senator, you joined a few other of your Republican colleagues in blocking that. What do you want the outcome of this to be?
Well, again, we have a resolution in the Republican Senate conference of not supporting earmarks. So here we are in the majority, and we're passing, I know this isn't an omnibus, but it's just short of it, about $1.3 trillion. The total amount of earmarks is $14.3 billion. Now, in comparison to $1.3 trillion, you say, well, it's not that much. It's still a lot, okay? It doesn't include Shutdown Fairness Act. I do not like shutdowns. That's why I proposed and made sure we got a vote on the Eliminate Shutdown Act. The Shutdown Fairness Act, every Republican senator, all 53 voted for that to just pay people. We're going to pay them anyway, pay them on time. But unfortunately, neither of those bills were passed. It wasn't a priority of this administration or the Speaker or the Majority Leader, and that's unfortunate. So now we're in this position where we've got to bargain with Democrats to water down DHS's enforcement capabilities. So now I'm pretty frustrated myself, and I just lodged pretty much a protest vote here, I think, together with 7 other of my Republican colleagues.
Senator, I want to get your thoughts on the FBI raid at the Fulton County, Georgia main election facility, the site of various irregularities, as we might call it. The FBI has obtained all of the ballots and documentation of the 2 audits that were done there. What are your thoughts on this latest development, and what do you expect might come out of it?
Honestly, I think it's long overdue. We heard all these things, 80 court cases all dismissed. Well, most of them were dismissed without even looking at any evidence. And that's the problem with the election fraud. The person who is harmed by the fraud doesn't win the election, doesn't have the resources. Election officials, elected officials aren't particularly interested in looking at fraudulent elections because you've got to certify them so quick. So election fraud just continues, year after year after year, never gets properly investigated. I think it's well past time to really forensically go in there and investigate, what's happening in these machinery, within the machines, what's happening with, validating these ballots or adjudicating them. There's all kinds of problems with our election system because Democrats want to make it easy to cheat. That's the bottom line. They resist any election integrity measure. They want to make it easy to cheat. We want to make it easy to vote, impossible to cheat. That's not Democrats' approach.
Senator Ron Johnson, greatly appreciate you joining us. Thank you.
Have a good day.